Hello and welcome to Thought for September the 2nd. Our readings are 2 Kings chapter 7, Lamentations chapter 3, and 1 Corinthians chapter 16. My thought is, my soul is bereft of peace, but this I call to mind. Such are the means of modern communication. Rarely a day goes past without us hearing some news of events that are causing anxiety, even distress, among believers in some parts of the world. We reflected on this as we continued reading Jeremiah's brief book of Lamentations. It was obviously written after the tragedy of Jerusalem's fall and the destruction of the temple. But today's chapter 3, is most remarkable. It contains some great lessons for us. Lessons of the perceptions that can come into our minds from God if we truly seek him as Jeremiah did. First he says, God has enveloped me with bitterness and tribulation, verse 5. Maybe we can use that word envelop in a modern sense and say we can put this bitterness in an envelope and put it out with the rubbish or into the fire. But how? Jeremiah also says, my soul is bereft of peace. I have forgotten what happiness is. Verse 17. But then wonderfully, from verse 21, his mind climbs out of his depression. And what a wonderful example this is for all who, at some stage in their lives, feel overwhelmed by events. He writes, but this I call to mind, and therefore I have hope. The steadfast love of the Lord never ceases. His mercies never come to an end. They are new every morning. Great is your faithfulness. The Lord is my portion, says my soul. Therefore I will have hope in him. Verses 25 and 26. If you are a young person, note verse 27. It is good for a man or woman that they bear the yoke in their youth. A yoke? That is, be in harness in the service of the Lord and learn that God watches over their lives and knows and can and will direct the path of those who truly seek him. David says in Psalm 142, when my spirit faints within me, you know my way. Finally, although there are other verses in this remarkable chapter we would have liked to quote, note verses 40 and 41. Let us test and examine our ways and return to the Lord. Let us lift up our hearts and hands to God. May we follow Jeremiah's example, for few have experienced traumas like he did. But after being totally bereft of peace, he still knew that the steadfast love of the Lord never ceases. Well, thank you once again for joining us for Thought for the Day, where together we can open up the pages of God's Word, knowing that Word to be a lamp to our feet and a light to our path.